Hey, today we're solving systems of equations, yay! But now they're not nonlinear. What does that mean, huh? They're not necessarily straight lines. So, what could happen? We could have a parabola that gets crossed by a line, and there are two answers. You have to find them both. Right, x and y, and this would be negative x and a positive y, right? This would be 0 if it's right on the x-axis, right? We know that one, right? So we're going to be able to find two answers or three answers or four answers. You know, if we had a circle and it was crossed by a parabola, look at that. Then I'd have an intersection there. I'd have to find that intersection. That would be x and negative y, right? Up here, this would be a positive y and a positive x. Over here, it'd be a negative y, and down here, there'd be both negatives. Look at that. You'd have four different answers that you'd have to be able to find. So we're going to work these out. Now, happy days, we can graph them and find the answer, or we can use substitution. Either way works just fine when we're solving problems like this. So let's try. Let's do one and see what happens. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at, let's look at this one. Where'd it go? I lost it already. Sad for me. What's the deal with that puppy? Okay, here we go. So we're going to grab y equals x squared minus 3. So that's my parabola. And then y equals 2x plus 1. Oh boy. We know what that's going to look like. At least I hope you know what that's going to look like. Negative 3 means this parabola is down this way. 2x plus 1 means it crosses right there. Goes over 1 up 2. Over 1 up 2. Over 1 up 2. Wow. Where's it going to cross, huh? Over 1 down 2. It's going to look like that. So eventually we'll have an x, y right there. And we'll have a negative x, negative y right there. Right? That's what we're looking for. So this is the problem we're going to do. And that's what it's going to look like. So let's see if we can do it. Here we go. Y equals. Clean out all the junk that's there. And we have x squared minus 3, and then 2x plus 1. Kaboom. So we're going to zoom in on that thing and see what happens. There's my parabola. There's my line. Hey, it looks just like I said. How about that? Can't beat that with a stick, huh? So, what do? Well, we got it graphed. Now, in your calculator, if you use this button right here, second and trace, what you find down there, number 5, it says intersection. You can find the intersection of these two things. How about that? So, if I want to find the intersection of these two things, let's see what we could do. So you have to be on the first curve, so maybe we should zoom in so you can see. All right. You see the cursor is right on the y-axis. So you can tell that I'm on the parabola. Right? There I am moving all over the parabola. Am I on the first curve? Yes. Now, I'm on the second curve. You can see that I'm on the line because there I am. I'm on the line, so you say yes. And then you want to get right on top of the place that you want. This one says the answer is a nasty little decimal. What does that say? The first one is negative 1.234. You don't see that every day. And negative 1.472. So we said that we were going to have one negative and one positive. Well, we found this guy over here. Whoops, where am I? We found that guy. Both of those guys are negative. Negative 1.234 and negative 1.472. Hey, we got that. We know what that one is. Let's see if we can find this next one, huh? So we go back and do it again. Second quit, and then back to the table, right? Go back to the calculate menu. So you go down to intersection, and now if you look for the cursor, you say, are you on the first curve? Yes, I am on the parabola, right? Are you on the second curve? Yes, you can see me sliding up the line. And then guess where you think it is. I think it's right there, and I am right. It is right there. What is that? That is 3.236 comma 7.472. How about that? So we found both of the answers just by graphing. This is the negative one. This is the positive one. You want at least 3 decimal places when you solve your answers, and you are in business. Let's do one with circles, because some people don't know what to do about circles. So, I don't know if you know, but the equation of a circle has both things squared, like this. X squared plus y squared equals some number, right? So x squared plus y squared equals 9. No problem, okay? So what does that look like? Well, when we graph it, it's going to be right in the center of the graph, and it's going to have a radius. And it's going to look just like that. The square root of this number is the radius. So r equals the square root of 9, which is 3. So that one's 3 wide, 3 tall, right? The radius is 3. So if this was 10, it would be the square root of 10. If this was 16, it'd be the square root of 16, which is 4. You know, so that's the idea. Whatever this number is, that's the radius, and then it's in the center of the graph. So that's how you can graph it, but if you wanted to graph it on your calculator, look what you have to do. I've got x squared plus y squared equals 9. So I have to move the x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract the x squared, and I get 9 minus x squared. Then I want to get y by itself, and you know how to do that. You just take the square root, right? So y equals the square root of 9 minus x squared. But remember that there's always 2. I should have showed you before I gave it to you. There's always 2 answers. If you want to see the whole circle, you have to look at it this way. So let's go to y equals. And so I'm going to say the square root of so I'm typing in 9 minus x squared, close my parentheses, and then the negative square root of 9 minus x squared, close my parentheses. And look what happens. I get the top of the circle, and I get the bottom of the circle. If I do just one of those, I only get half of the circle. Right? That's all I get. Oh. So, now if we wanted to intersect that with something else, what do we want to intersect that with? We could cross the circle with a line. Right? That would have two answers. We could cross the circle with a parabola. That would have four answers. Right? We could cross the circle with a hyperbola. Remember, a hyperbola looks like this. And then, right? So that would have four answers as well. So whenever you solve problems, what you're doing is you're looking for how many answers could be. Now it's possible that a line touches a circle once. If it was tangent to the circle, like you learned in geometry, tangent means it touches one time. A secant cuts through it. Right? So you could be tangent. There's no problem with that. Or it can cut through. Or it could be a parabola. Or it could be a hyperbola. All sorts of things can cross this circle. So now that we got a graph, let's cross it with something. What do you want to cross it with? Let's do a quadratic equation. X squared minus 5. Okay? So x squared minus 5. What is that going to look like? Now if I type it in here, x squared minus 5, I see my parabola cuts the circle in 4 times, which is what we said it was going to do. Right? We said it's going to cut it in 4 times. Yeah. So how can I find those answers? Well, I do the same thing. I have to do second, calculate, and then I'm finding the intersection. Now, this one's tricky because when you're on the first curve, you're on the top of the circle. The second curve is the bottom of the circle. The third thing that you graphed was the parabola. So if you don't remember that, see, top half of the circle, bottom half of the circle, parabola. So whenever I graph this guy and I'm looking for something, it'll say, like it says right there, let's zoom in, it says first curve, and so you have to look, where am I? Can you see where it is? Yeah, it's on the circle at top. It's on the top circle. So you say yes. Now then, it's on the bottom circle. So you want to what you want to do is hit the down arrow or the up arrow, and you'll go to the next one. Now I don't know if you can see it, but right here it tells you what graph you're on now, and you can see you're on the parabola. So are you on the parabola? You say yes, I am. And then it says, which answer do you want to find? Well, I want to find that one. Right? I'm finding the top left answer. So what is the top left answer? Well, according to this, it's 2.562, 1.562. So one of my answers is 2.562, comma 1.5. This was negative 62. Now, what that means for you is I will be willing to bet that this one is the same place. It's just positive 2562. So we're going to say plus or minus 2562, because this point on the right hand side is the same place as the point on the left hand side. So the point that's on the right hand side is the same place as the point on the left hand side. So we can say 2.562, 1.562, that's this guy. And then negative 2.562, that's this guy. Well, that's only the top two. Remember, there's two bottom ones. Well, let's find those. Alrighty, zoom back in. So I'm going to do second, intersection, go down to number 5, and it says, which curve are you on? I'm on the first curve, but I don't want to be on the first curve. I want to be on the bottom of the circle. See, now I'm on the bottom. Can you see that the cursor moved down here? Right? Are you on the bottom curve? You can see it move around. It's on the bottom circle. Right? So you hit enter. And then it says, are you on the next curve? And yes, you want to be right on that one because that's the parabola. So you say yes. Now, where do you want to be? I want to be way down there where I can find my answer. Right? What's my answer? Well, it's 1.562. It's negative. Negative 1.562 and positive negative, what am I saying? Positive. Negative 2.562. How about that? Now, that's the left one. I'm willing to bet the other one is positive. So I'm going to say plus or minus. So I found all 4 of my answers right here. Check it out. Bing, bing. We did it. The left one, the left one and the right one on the top, and the left one and the right one on the bottom. That's what you're going to be doing today. All right. See you later. Bye.